Good morning, everyone. We are back on the record. The time is 9 a.m. The date is May 28th, 2026. This is day 3 of the hearing in Montana Public Service Commission docket number 2026.01.011 involving an application of NW Services Class B Certificate of Public Convenience and Necessity. I'm the hearing examiner Laura Mahalski. With me here again today is Commission Staff Attorney Clifford Omens and Regulatory Compliance Specialist Susie Lindsay. We're appearing once again from the North Fork Meeting Room at the Hampton Inn in Belmont. As we usually do, I'll start the day by asking for public comment. If anyone is planning to make public comment, please note that this hearing is being recorded and all comments received will be public records. So please do not include in your comments any confidential private information. Are there any public commenters in the room this morning? Yes. Please, if you'd like to come forward, we have a microphone.
And they need to.
Where would you like me to stand?
If you'd like to come over here, maybe, and where we're placing our witnesses. Just in this chair right here, the mic should hook you up.
Okay, and I have a business card. Would you like me to have that too?
That would be fine. I will be asking all public commenters to sign in. We have a sign-in sheet just for our records. Thank you.
Okay, I'll do that one.
All right, if you would please start by stating your name and the town where you live. We don't need your physical address, just the town that you're in. And if you're speaking on behalf of an organization, please let us know what that organization is.
Okay, my name is Leslie Baldwin. I live in Whitefish, Montana. And I work for Western Montana chapter for the prevention of elder abuse. Please, good to go? Okay, sorry, I thought you were gonna ask me something else. Okay, so my job is unique. We do court conservatorship, guardianships. We are given our cases by the courts when these cases are very, very difficult. We never know when they're coming and we never know what we're going to get. An example, over the last 11 plus years I've had this job, there was a house in the Hungry Horse. It was an extreme hoarder house. There was trails in the house. The resident was already in a nursing home based on an emergency basis, and we need to sell the house for Medicaid funds immediately. We were unable to get us any dumpsters, any rollback, no support up there for at least 5 weeks at this time to help us empty the house to get it listed. Those timelines did not meet what Medicaid needed us to have the house listed for sale. They gave us a very short window. So unfortunately, we actually had to take trash out of the houses and whatnot and stuff them in vehicles that this person owned and their truck and trailers to even clear a path to even make it so people had walking trails through this home to show it. We were not able to empty the entire house that we wanted. So we know we were losing money on the sale of this house because we had no ability to actually get a dumpster up there to clean the house properly. That is one example. Another example is, it was in Kalispell. It was a urine-based home in the carpet, and we needed to empty all of the carpet out and in some spots repair the subfloor again so we could sell it right away for Medicaid. I moved this person myself actually into the assisted living facility, and again, no options in the time frame that Medicaid has given us to list the home. So therefore, I actually at the time owned an excursion and drove the excursion, laid down a tarp and put urine drenched carpet and pad into my excursion to haul it to the dump myself so we could sell this, which is not safe. I have children. We're just not given the right options that we need for the type of work that we do, and it is not a everyday, it is not a constant. We are not a contractor that we are able to build constant relationships. The need for other companies within the area I have found is very critical. I have yet once in 11 years been able to schedule a dumpster in the time frame that I am given by Medicaid to get a house clean to sell. Not once. So that is my piece. If there's any other questions.
No, thank you very much, Ms. Baldwin.
Okay, thank you. I'll fill this out and put it right back.
And then do you have another public commenter in the room, please?
Good morning.
Morning. And again, if you'd like to start by stating your name.
Yes, my name is James Sterling,
Okay, and the town that you're from.
Big Fork, Montana,
Are you speaking on behalf of the organization or just yourself?
myself.
Okay, please go ahead.
So I am a builder here in the valley. I build 4 or 5 custom homes a year. And since 2020, I've had nothing but problems getting dumpsters to my projects. I've used all the companies in the valley a handful of times. 2022, I've had a project that I had a driveway getting paved and they couldn't get services to get the dumpster out of the property in order to pave the driveway. I got excuse after excuse saying that the road was steep. I've had excuses that the driver went to the wrong property. And then that particular project went into the following spring to get the paving done on my project, which held up my project, 6-7 months. I've had to purchase a dump truck to take my construction debris to other projects to the dump myself because of the services here wasn't as good as it was, on the East Coast where I'm from. I looked into open up a dumpster company back in 2022 also, and I didn't want to deal with this. My attorney advised that I did not pursue open up my company due to, dealing with the commission and all that other stuff and being protested by other companies. And I kind of feel like that's a monopoly. And after I purchased my dump trucks to take my own debris to the dump, I realized that the price that these people were charging was way, way overpriced. You're paying not only a rental for a dumpster, that's unheard of. Usually it's a flat rate for dumpsters. My family owns the largest dumpster companies on the East Coast. Winter Brothers is one of them. And you pay by the dumpster, the size of the dumpster. If you're gonna put construction debris, it might be different prices. You put concrete or roofing, but over here, they rent the dumpster, they drop it off, they don't pick it up, and they charge you for all that time it's just sitting there. I've had dumpsters sit a month and a half, 2 months after calling in for a pickup. And I believe it's it's just not fair to contractors. I'm not the only contractor in the valley that complains about it. I deal with a bunch of different contractors on all my job sites, and now I have to make them get their own debris off the job site because of the situation with the dumpster. And I feel that we can use a couple of dumpster companies here in the valley. When you need to get debris off the job site, I build multi-million-dollar homes. And anywhere between 8 and 25,000 square feet. And we create a lot of debris. And when you're building these homes on the lake, on the river, in subdivisions, you can't have a mess on the job site. And it literally cost me 2 dump trucks, about $130,000, $140,000 a piece, which is unfair because I don't need a dump truck. It's my dumpster. And it's not fair that I have to, go out and pay that type of money to get a dumpster to get debris off the job site. And you can call up a company like these guys and say, hey, I need a dumpster, 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out. That's not fair. So I feel that, having 1 or 2 more companies in the valley would be great. There's a lot of builders here now. There's a lot of homes going up. It's just gonna go up. And, it's time for a new company to come in. So I just wanna let you guys know that.
Thank you.
That's-
And if you could please sign the sheet, we'd appreciate it. Thank you very much. Are there any other public commenters in the room? Seeing none, are there any online?
There are none.
Seeing none, all right, thank you. Thank you.
Not according to my staff.
Which one?
Do you think there's
Jesse.
someone online that's a public commenter?
I had someone that was trying to get the link, but they weren't able to get it from
You know-
yesterday.
I don't provide the link. Our IT staff does. They have to call our office and get on a list and get the link sent to them because it's a security issue. You can't have someone Zoom bombing the meeting. So Our IT staff provides that. If they didn't call our office and talk to somebody, they wouldn't have gotten the link.
And they could do it this afternoon, right?
Yeah, we take public comment at the end of the meeting. is
Well,
that
at the
what-
hearing, but we'll,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so if we finish today, we'll have public comment at the end of the day.
Oh,
We continue it tomorrow, we'll have it at the beginning of the day and then at the end. Yeah, ask all our office.
Yeah.
Tell them if they want to make public comment and then set them up.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
All right, so no public commenters online. Just an announcement for anyone watching online and the parties again. We are expecting probably sometime this morning to have to take a little break just due to some technological issues that we've been having. But hopefully those will be addressed shortly. So before we move on to resuming the evidentiary hearing, any procedural questions or other matters from the parties? We have none.
And I can do it when we go on the record as a housekeeping matter. I neglected to move for the admission of page 39 of exhibit 14 yesterday, and I was noticed that.
Why don't we move to the evidentiary record and then take further matters? Is that fine? All right, so let's go ahead and continue with the evidentiary matter. Ms. Pappas, please.
Thank you. I would move for the admission of page NWS 39 of exhibit NWS 14, which is the swank invoice that my client discussed yesterday.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
So admitted. NWS is the 14th page. NWS 39 is admitted. Like, all your next witness and cover? We have no further witness. No further witness. All right. Then on to public.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before we call our first witness, Republic moves that the commission take administrative notice of and admit into the evidentiary record. Commission created and commission maintained document. The documents, the Montana Interstate Carriers Authority dated March 6, 2026. A copy of which was produced by Republic in this matter is marked as Exhibit F. The documents maintained by the Montana Public Service Commission as a part of its official records, publicly available on the commission's website. The basis for this request is that the document is a matter within the commission's own files and records. It's readily verifiable by reference to the commission's maintained record system, and its authenticity is not reasonably subject to dispute because it's generated and preserved by the commission itself. So with that, I respectfully request that the commission take administrative notice of this document. It's an official commission record that was created by the commission and is maintained by the commission in the ordinary course of its regulatory functions. And then subject to the commission granting that administrative notice, I believe that the document will be admitted.
Any objections?
I have no objection.
No objection. No objection. Well, the commission will take administrative notice of public exhibit F, which is the March 5th, 2020.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
At this time, Madam Chair, Republic will call its first witness, Republic roll-off driver, Mr. Chad Nielsen.
Yeah.
Yes,
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please proceed, counsel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, Mr. Nielsen. Can you please state your name for the record?
My name is Chad Nielsen.
Mind if I call you Chad this morning? No, that's fine. Thanks, Chad. Chad, where do you live?
I live in Kalispell, Montana.
How long have you lived in Kalispell?
Just about 9 years now.
And who's your employer?
I work for Republic Services.
How long have you worked for Republic Services?
I have worked for Republic Services for almost 5 years now.
And what is your current position with Republic, Chad?
My current position with Republic Services is I am a relief driver as well as a behind the wheel instructor.
Is that a full-time position or a part-time position?
It is full-time.
How long have you been working in your role as a relief driver and as a behind the wheel instructor?
I have been a relief driver for almost a year now, and I've been a behind the wheel instructor about 4 or 5 months.
What is a behind the wheel instructor?
Behind the wheel instructor, so all the people that we get hired on new have to go through a training program. And as a behind the wheel instructor, I went through classes and I'm able to train our new guys and the way it's Republic and the ways to do things right.
Does that include training on how to provide roll-off services?
Yes, sir.
How about your work as a relief driver? What does that involve?
As a relief driver, I am able to run any of our trucks that we run in our fleet. If someone does not calls in sick or, is on vacation, I can take over and get those routes completed.
Does that include providing roll-off services?
Yes, sir.
Can you describe kind of what your typical daily duties would look like as a relief driver when providing roll-off services?
Yeah, like I said, if somebody calls in sick or is on vacation, I can do their job. Or if we have, because we have one roll-off driver every day. If there's more need for another roll-off driver, I can also hop in a truck and help complete routes. Yeah.
In your work as a relief driver and as a behind the wheel instructor, what general geographic areas do you help provide service for?
The Flathead County.
When you're working as a relief driver providing roll-off services, on average, approximately how many customers or customer job sites do you serve a day?
We could do anywhere from 7 to 14 roll-offs a day.
Does that number fluctuate?
It does, yes.
Are there instances when there are sometimes more need or a need for an additional roll-off driver to provide services during the day?
Yes, there is.
And what happens when there's an additional need?
We can put a guy in the truck and get the services done that need to be done.
What types of job sites when you're working as a relief driver providing roll-off services, what types of customer job sites are you serving?
We serve residential, commercial, new construction builds. We serve just about anything.
Do these include large construction projects as well as maybe smaller projects like a house clean out or something smaller like a kitchen remodel?
Yes, sir.
To your knowledge, what size containers does Republic provide or offer for options in its roll-off services?
In our roll-off services, we offer 10-yard, 25-yard, 30-yard containers.
And how does that range of container sizes allow Republic to serve different types of customers?
Our smaller containers, we can fit into smaller spaces. Easier to get in and out of places. Our bigger containers haul more. We can get them in some places, but it's a little bit harder to get them in some places.
What about for even the smaller matters? Does Republic offer any sort of options for smaller size containers that are even smaller than 10-yard roll-offs?
Yes, we do.
What would those be?
We call them front load containers. We take them to construction sites. They are easier to get in. We have smaller trucks that can do that.
What types of trucks are used to deliver those smaller size containers?
We have a container delivery truck. It's a smaller F650 or F750 truck.
What size containers are those?
They range from anywhere from 2 yard to 8 yards.
Chad, I want to ask a little bit about your training when you joined Republic. When you were hired by Republic, what type of training did you receive specific to your position for providing roll-off services?
When I got into the roll-off position, the training consists of riding in a truck 2 days with a behind the wheel instructor. As he is driving, I would be riding if I was the new person. And then after those 2 days, we would swap. He would ride with me and I would be driving and he'd be teaching me the rules of the business. And that extends out to 15 days. And if longer needed, more days.
So it sounds like you had training through observation.
Yes.
It sounds like you had training through hands-on experience.
Yes, sir.
What about any sort of in the classroom type training? Was there any of that?
Yes, sir.
Can you explain a little bit what that involved?
We go through training on computers. We do training once a month, the normal safety meeting, and then we also do once a month safety meeting for OSHA training.
What type of training did you receive on how to safely deliver a roll-off to a customer job site?
We got trained to be aware of our surroundings, make sure as we're coming into a job site, we know what we're walking into, what we're driving into, and being aware of overhead obstructions, vehicles, people, anything that could be in our way.
Yesterday, we heard some testimony from a gentleman with Evergreen, Mr. Andy Ewing, who talked a little bit about, I believe he called them the Smith system for safety factors. Are you familiar with the Smith system?
Yes, Republic does the system, Smith system.
And can you generally describe what the Smith system is to your knowledge?
So the Smith system is a safety tool that we use for driving. There's 5 keys to the Smith system.
My understanding is there's some additional safety instructions that you follow as well, including the 0321 I guess factors. Can you kind of explain what those are?
Yes, we go with the 0321 with our backing. 0, we try to eliminate backing at all costs. And if we cannot eliminate backing, the 3 in that slogan is 3 sounds of the backup alarm. And then the 2 is 2 honks of the horn to alert people that we are backing up. And then 1 is one last look to make sure nothing is in our way and we know what's behind us.
And why do you try to avoid backing up when possible?
Backing is a hazard. You don't get to see, you can't see as much behind you as you can in front of you.
Do the trucks that Republic use, do they have backup cameras?
Yes, they do.
The backup warning system, it sounds like there's a warning beeping sound. Is that something that you need to turn on in the cab of the truck, or is that something that's turned on automatically when the reverse is engaged?
It is automatically turned on when you put it in reverse.
To your knowledge, does Republic have a distracted driver program?
Yes, we do.
What is that distracted driving policy? Can you explain a little bit?
So we're not allowed to be on our cell phones or be distracted from the roadway while eating, taking drinks. They want our focus to be mainly on what's in front of us, what's on our sides, what's behind us. They want us to be focused on the road and not be focused on something else.
So while you're driving down the road in a heavy loaded garbage truck, you're not allowed to be texting and driving, is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
If a Republic driver were to be using their cell phone while in the cab of the vehicle, is there any sort of warning system or alarm that would be notify the driver to get off the phone or something like that?
Yes, sir. We have cameras in our trucks.
Can you explain how that works?
We have the Samsara cameras in our trucks, and they can pick up that a driver is distracted if he looks away too far or too long, takes his eyes off the road for so long, it will ping and it will send the notifications to the supervisors and let them know that this driver was distracted driving.
You talked a little bit about your training when you became the driver. What sort of ongoing refresher training or safety training do you receive at Republic for providing your driving services?
Yeah, we do. Like I said, our monthly safety meetings. It's on various different topics every month. And then we also have our OSHA training every month. That's on different topics every month.
In your mind, how does that ongoing safety training help you prioritize safety and reliability?
That training keeps us on our feet, keeps us not from being not complacent on the road, keeps us aware.
What role do vehicle inspections play in your job?
Vehicle inspections are a very big part of our job.
How often are inspections performed?
Twice daily.
And can you explain when those inspections take place?
We do it in the morning before we leave the yard and when we get back to the yard at the end of the day.
And what type of inspection is that?
It is a pre and post trip. It's a thorough inspection of the truck. Go through your truck, make sure your tires and everything is looking great, make sure your air system is working properly, so your brakes work properly. Make sure the truck is fit for the road.
If during your, let's say your morning inspection, you observe that there is something wrong with the vehicle that creates a safety issue, what happens next?
The truck, depending on what it is, the truck can be downed. And the mechanics will have to fix it before it leaves. And we could swap over to a different truck.
Chad, in your work as a driver, why is safety important in providing roll-off services at Republic?
Safety is important. It is the number one thing. I have a family at home and I want to get home to my family every night. And I want to make sure everybody else gets home to their families at night.
In your role as a behind the wheel instructor, how important is safety to you personally?
Safety is number one. And I want to protect everybody that's out there. I want to make sure that people aren't getting hurt. And these trucks are nothing to be messed with.
Chad, what kind of driver's license do you have to provide these roll-off services at Republic?
I have a commercial driver's license.
And to your knowledge, is a CDL required to provide roll-off services at Republic?
Yes, sir.
In your view, why is having a CDL important for a roll-off driver?
Commercial driver's licenses are important. Makes you aware of what these trucks can do, what damages these trucks can do. I mean, these trucks are super heavy. They don't stop on a dime. So it takes thorough training to drive these trucks.
Are you, to your knowledge, are you required to undergo any sort of health evaluations as part of receiving a CDL?
Yes, sir.
How about drug and alcohol screening? Do you undergo random screenings?
Yes, sir.
Chad, in your experience as a driver for Republic, how frequently, when you're serving as a roll-off driver, how frequently do you deliver or pick up roll-off containers in the Flathead County? Let's just say, how many days out of the week?
5 to 6 days a week.
And how many months out of the year does Republic provide roll-off services in Flathead County?
All year, 12 months.
As part of your job, are you required to complete scheduled deliveries and pickups in all weather conditions as long as it is safe to do so?
Yes, sir.
How many roll-off drivers does Republic have in Flathead County, to your knowledge?
In Flathead County, we have 5 guys that can drive a roll-off truck.
And if a roll-off driver is sick or on vacation or is, for whatever reason, unable to provide services for the day, what options are available for Republic to provide that service?
One of those other 5 individuals can hop in a truck and complete the route.
And what happens if a truck is down for mechanical issues? You talked a little bit about that earlier, downing a truck. What sort of backup options does Republic have?
We have extra spare trucks at the yard, and we also have mechanics in our yard area.
How many mechanics does Republic employ here in Flathead County, to your knowledge?
We have 2 mechanics,
Are those full-time or part-time employees?
full-time employees.
How does Republic handle situations when there is a damaged roll-off box?
We also have a container repair shop.
Is this a gentleman, does he do a lot of welding?
Yes, he does.
I shouldn't assume it's a gentleman, but does this employee have, is this a full-time employee?
Yes.
I want to talk a little bit about customer interactions. When you provide roll-off services, do you interact with customers?
Yes, sir.
And what kind of interactions do you typically have with customers?
It's along the lines of, or where they would like the container, how they would like it, to be able to make it easier for them. And if we can put it there, we can talk to them about that, and if not, we can make a new plan.
If a customer requested that you place a roll-off box in a safe, excuse me, in an unsafe location, what would be your response to that?
I would tell them that we're not able to put it in this location because of whatever reasons those are. When we can talk about a different location, and if that does not work, then we can get higher up people to come out here.
In your experience, does Republic try to be responsive to customer needs and scheduling issues?
Yes, sir.
How so?
If something happens along our routes, we can reschedule our pickups, for a different date or later in the day, depending on the situation.
In your experience, when a request for a roll-off is made by a customer, how long generally does it take Republic to then provide that roll-off box to the customer?
As I don't get to see a whole lot of that part, but when we have deliveries on our routes for the day, we get it done within that day.
And how about a pickup when a box is full and ready to be dumped at the landfill? Generally, what is your knowledge of the response time that Republic has to pick up the box?
Usually within 24 hours.
If there's a really bad snowstorm with icy conditions and other unsafe circumstances that prevents Republic from timely serving the customer, how does Republic reach out to the customer to identify those issues?
We can call the customer and tell them the problem we're having, and we can reschedule it for a different day or get it scheduled after the conditions change, or yeah.
If there's an instance when you've been called out to pick up a filled up roll-off box and there is an obstruction that is blocking your ability to pick up the roll-off box, what steps do you take then?
I would usually try to find somebody on the location, talk to them if we can. And if we can't get stuff moved, then we're not able to get the box safely and haul it.
What steps are taken to notify the customer about that?
We would radio into dispatch and tell them that, hey, we can't find anybody to get stuff moved for our boxes, or, you know, that's in front of our boxes. And they could try and call the customer and get a hold of them.
So for example, if there's a, obstruction that is blocking the box, it's not Republic's responsibility to move the obstruction, correct?
No.
How about if there is construction waste and debris that is overfilling and overflowing a roll-off box, making it unsafe to pick up? What steps do you take to try to notify the customer?
We try and find somebody on location, same as before. And if not, we radio into dispatch and they can try and get a hold of the customer through calling them. We try to not haul overfilled boxes because that's dangerous for the road.
And why is that dangerous for the road?
Stuff can fall out, bounce on the ground, hit other vehicles, create wrecks.
And if there's an overfilled box, is it your responsibility to get out of the truck and try to tamp down the overfilling construction waste and debris that is inside the box?
No, sir.
Based on what you see day to day, how does Republic treat customers' concerns?
We try to make our customers as happy as we can.
And what has been your experience about Republic's willingness to serve customers within its authorized service territory?
We try to bend over backwards for our customers. We try to get whatever they need to be done in a timely manner.
In your experience as a roll-off driver, has Republic ever run out of roll-off containers?
Not to my experience.
Chad, what does your job mean to you in serving the public?
I love it. I love serving the public. I like meeting people, making people happy, getting their stuff done for them.
Based on your experience, how well is Republic able to meet customer demand for roll-off services in Flathead County?
I think they're able to get the job done on time, good.
Chad, I have no further questions at this time, sir.
Thank you.
You'll have a few other questions.
I have no questions for this.
Lisa, did you get my exchange with Jackie? Okay, Evergreen.
I have no questions for this witness.
Helen L, any questions?
No questions for this.
PW Services.
I just have a couple. Chad, my name's Paul Sandry. I'm here on behalf of NW Services. They're the ones applying for a certificate of authority. You said in your examination that there are 5 drivers in the Flathead that can operate roll-offs.
Yes,
The suggestion you're telling to me being that you don't have 5 regular dedicated roll-off drivers. How many of the 5 drive full-time for roll-off service?
full-time, we have one driver that runs full-time.
For roll-offs?
Yes, overall.
Okay, if that driver's sick, then another of the 4 remaining could fill in.
Yes,
And so are you the full-time roll-off guy?
I am not.
You're not? Okay. And so your experience with contractors on sites, roll-off sites is fairly limited in terms of what you do for Republic.
I mean, yes and no.
Okay, how about the yes part?
Yes, I am not all the time in a roll-off truck, but I am interacting with other customers in different lines of.
And when you're not driving a roll-off truck, are you driving a different truck?
Yes, sir.
Are you a garbage route driver?
Yes, I can do garbage routes, yes.
Like next Monday? Will you be driving a garbage route?
That is to be determined.
You don't know?
No,
Okay,
as a
Well, tomorrow.
road driver, I have to be ready to do anything needed.
okay. So you could be doing a sort of neighborhood door-to-door residential trash service one day and roll-offs the next.
Yes,
But be clear, there's one dedicated roll-off guy in the Flathead.
yes,
You don't handle scheduling, I take it,
I do not.
and you don't handle customer complaints from the office.
I do not.
So you wouldn't know the extent of customer complaints.
No.
The office would.
Sorry for.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
And you wouldn't know from your position how long it's been since the customer requested a roll-off to be dropped off to when it is actually dropped off.
I do not know that information.
You've been working for Republic for 9 years, you say?
No, 5.
I'm sorry, 5. Okay. And have you been in the Flathead all 5 of those years?
Yes,
And how long have you lived here?
almost 9 years.
And what did you do before you worked for Republic?
Before I worked for Republic, I worked in Kalispell at a Glacier Stone Supply.
And what was your job with Glacier Stone Supply?
I was a equipment operator. I worked at Glacier Stone Supply, splitting rocks and making the siding for rock.
So you dealt with contractor?
I did not.
You did not?
No, I was in the line working with all the guys. I was not in the office.
Other than the public comment this morning, have you ever heard of anyone in the Flathead complain about roll-off service?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Never?
No.
I have nothing to it.
I have no questions, Ms. Owens. No. Any redirect?
No, Madam Chair,
Okay, thank you.
this witness may be excused permanently.
Objections? No.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Republic calls Josh Lazoya. Josh should be online.
Good morning.
Good morning, Josh.
Good morning, Josh. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Mr. Lazoya? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Council, please proceed.
Good Good morning, Josh. Can you please state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Joshua William Lazoya. Last name is Loz as in zebra, Oya.
Josh, where do you work?
I work at Republic Services.
Okay.
Go ahead and try it again.
Josh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Sorry, we had a momentary interruption on the call. Josh, can you tell me what's your current role at Republic?
I am the sales manager for the state of Montana and Northern Idaho.
Okay. And how long have you been working for the garbage industry?
Garbage industry in total, probably 19 plus years.
Okay. How long have you been with Republic?
About 7.5 years.
Okay. And then of that 7.5, how long have you been in your current role?
Been in my current role in Montana since November of 22.
Okay. Does your current territory include Flathead County, Montana?
It does, yes.
Okay. Do you have sales staff that report to you or work for you in your role as a sales manager?
Yes.
How many of those sales staff help you to cover the territory in this matter, Flathead County?
Currently, we have 2 sales reps, and we are hiring a third starting on Monday 1st.
Okay. Do customers interact with you directly as well as your sales reps in order to order service from Republic?
They will more interact with the sales representatives. Me,
Okay.
probably 1% of the time.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Josh, can you say that again? I spoke over you.
Yeah, I would just say for myself, very limited exposure with customers.
Do any of your staff live in Flathead County?
We do have one sales representative that lives in Big Fork, yes.
Okay. And does the other sales representative come up here as part of their duties with Republic?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Josh, you haven't been here for the last 2 days of the hearing, correct?
I have not.
Okay, well, I'll represent to you then. Yesterday, we heard some testimony from Mr. John Lobestall of Finmark Construction. So you weren't here for John's testimony yesterday, correct?
I was not.
Okay. John testified that he wasn't sure when he had last used Republic for roll-off service in Flathead County, but he thought he'd used Republic maybe on average once per year for the last few years. Have you looked into Republic's records regarding Finmark Construction?
I have, yes.
Okay, and when you reviewed those records, what did you find about Republic providing Finmark Construction with roll-off service?
I found that they utilized us in August of 2025.
Okay, from your review of the records, could you tell when Republic received that request for service?
Yeah, based on what the records show, it looks like the quote was initiated on August 22nd of 25. And
Okay.
finalized on that same day.
did you say it was finalized on that same day?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Do I understand that someone on your sales team would have input that quote? You might have said a different word than input, but someone entered it into Republic's records?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Does the sales team typically input quotes promptly upon receiving them from a customer?
Yes.
Okay. Could you tell who actually ordered the roll-off on behalf of Finmark? Was it John?
I can't remember at this time, Lucas.
Okay, if I suggested to you your records may suggest it's Rick Bloom, does that name sound familiar?
That name rings a bell, yes.
Okay, so the request came in on August 22nd. Do you know when the container was delivered?
Looks like the container was delivered on the 26th.
Okay, so it was ordered on Friday, August 22nd, delivered on Tuesday, August 26th of 2025.
Correct.
Okay, delivery on the second business day after being ordered. Do you know, did the customer call for a dump and return at any point after that?
Yeah, they called and scheduled a dump and return on 9/4/2025.
Okay, and when was that service completed?
It was completed on 9/8/25.
Okay, so sorry, go ahead.
I just said of 25.
So in that case, they called it in on a Thursday and the container was dumped on a Monday, correct?
Correct.
Okay, did the customer request any further service after that?
Yeah, from the records, it showed that they requested the container to be relocated to a different spot on the job site. And that was completed that request came in on 9/8/25.
Okay, do you know when, from the records, do you know when that request was fulfilled?
That was fulfilled the next day.
Okay. When you reviewed Republic's records, did you see any indication that Finmark Construction had complained to Republic about any of these occasions?
I did not.
Okay, any indication that Finmark Construction had provided any other feedback to Republic on any of these occasions?
Nothing that I had seen.
Okay. Yesterday, we also heard some testimony from a Mr. Cy Muir of Muir Construction. Since you weren't here, I'll represent to you that Cy testified about the time it takes Republic to provide roll-off service and expressed some frustration when he was calling for a roll-off and not getting it, quote, right away. Do you know or have a sense of what Republic's average delivery time for a roll-off in Flathead County is from the time that it's called for?
We pride ourselves on next day service at Republic. And if we can't, we usually have that delivered within 48 hours.
Okay. Let's talk maybe the specifics about the Muir account then. Were you able to review Republic's records related to Muir Construction?
I was, yes.
Okay. What do the records show in terms of when that dumpster was first delivered? Excuse me, that roll-off dumpster was first delivered to Muir Construction?
Yeah, based on my findings, the initial delivery was on August 7th of 2024.
Okay, and when was the first time that the records show that Muir Construction called for a dump and return on that account?
It was on December 13th, 2024, and we completed that on 12/16/2024.
Okay, that to a non-garbage man, that sounds like a long time between August and December. Is that timeline unusual?
It's not unusual for construction. There may be some delays in construction. Weather might be prohibiting the project.
Okay. So then after that first dump and return, was there a second dump and return called for?
That was completed on April 23rd of 25, when it was originally called into schedule. And then we had completed that service on the 25th.
Okay. Sorry. So we had some background noise on the second half of that. Josh, here.
We completed the service on.
What date was that service completed for the second dump and return?
Service was completed on the 25th.
Okay, so I think I heard the first dump and return was a Friday to Monday, and the second dump and return was a Wednesday to Friday. How about, was there a third dump and return?
There was, that happened on July 24th, 25, and it was completed on July 28th, 25.
Okay, Thursday through a Monday. Was there a fourth dump and return?
There was, that was completed or scheduled on October 10th of 25 and completed on October 14th.
Okay, that Friday through a Tuesday. And was there a fifth dump and return?
There was, that was scheduled on 12/31 of 25 and completed on January 7th of 26.
Let me get that right. The contractor called Republic for service on New Year's Eve.
Correct, yes.
Okay, and so you get a call on New Year's Eve, the following day is a holiday. The following day is January 2nd, that'd be the Friday. And then you've got the weekend, and then you got Monday, Tuesday, and Republic picked it up on that Wednesday, the 7th?
Correct.
Okay. And then was there any other dumps and returns on that account?
There was just one final removal, which was scheduled on February 9th of 26, and that was
Okay.
completed on February 11th of 26.
Okay, so Monday through Wednesday. So I think just to summarize what I heard you say, there were 6 dumps on this account, and of those dumps, with the exception of one that occurred over New Year's Eve holiday in the middle of winter, all of them occurred within 1 to 2 business days?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Yesterday, we also heard some testimony on behalf of both Bill Goldberg and Seth Simonson of Compass Construction. Since you weren't here for that, I'll represent to you that Bill testified that he'd not called Republic for roll-off service in Flathead County in the last 5 years. And Seth testified that he had contacted Republic once in 2023 seeking multiple roll-off boxes emptied daily, but was not able to get the service he wanted. If Republic gets a call from a shipper that needs multiple dumps of a roll-off container daily, is that something Republic is capable of providing?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, how would Republic provide that kind of service?
Our field representative, who is the sales representative for the territory, would talk with the operations team about what is needed and schedule everything based on the customer's needs and requests.
Okay. Does Republic have the ability to send out like a dedicated driver for a particular job site? Is that a service that can be provided?
That is a service we can provide, yes.
Okay, is that something that actually happens from time to time when the customers request it?
It does, especially if customers are doing a quick demolition project.
Okay. So assuming that Seth's testimony about his request was accurate, it sounds like there may have been something else about what Compass Construction was asking for that was the reason the Republic couldn't fulfill the request.
Objection mischaracterizes pretty much everything he said.
I'll rephrase. Josh, I heard you say that Republic is capable of providing service for multiple roll-off boxes to be emptied daily, which was the request that Seth testified he got. And I just heard you say that Republic was capable of providing a driver that could perform that service. So if Seth asked for the service in that fashion, it sounds like there must have been something else about the request that was the reason Republic could not fulfill that request.
I continue the objection for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's not even a question. And number two, this witness has no foundation. He has not testified that he knows anything about the Seth Simonson communication with Republic or anything else. What is being asked of this witness is to speculate on what must have happened to justify Seth's complaint and Republic's response thereto. This witness isn't qualified to answer the questions that are being asked of him.
I'll withdraw the request. Josh, I don't want you to speculate about, things you don't know. Is it fair to say that Republic can and does provide dedicated drivers for roll-offs?
Yes, that is fair to say.
Josh, there was some discussion the last couple of days about growth in Flathead County and whether or not that also meant growth in the need for roll-off service. Have you looked into Republic's records about the total number of roll-offs that Republic served in Flathead County last year, so 2025?
I have, yes.
Okay, what can you tell us about how many roll-offs Republic delivered?
Republic, we hauled about 1,296 roll-off boxes in 2025.
Okay, and does Republic provide service 7 days a week typically or less than that?
It depends on the division, but in this division, no, we provide a 5-day-a-week service.
Okay, so if I take those 5 working days across the course of the year, it looks like that 12 to 1,300 roll-off containers comes to about 5 roll-offs per day if I were to average that. Does that sound correct?
That sounds pretty accurate, yes.
Okay. Do you know how much additional capacity Republic has to meet the need for roll-off service if that number grows?
You know, I don't want to speculate on that, Lucas. That would probably be better geared towards my operational staff.
Okay, thanks, Josh. Josh, the applicant has offered some exhibits here that show screenshots from the Republic website concerning roll-off rentals. I'll represent to you that those screenshots appear to show rentals for 9 days at a time. Do you know if Republic offers roll-offs for rent for less than 9 days?
Yes, we will offer roll-off rentals for any amount of time that the customer needs.
Okay, when I hear you say any amount, what I understand you to say is from as little as 1 day to a sort of continuous rental as long as the customer needs it. Is that correct?
Correct, yes. Every customer's needs are different.
Okay. If the roll-off was rented for less time than 9 days, say 1 day or 2 or 3, would the rental cost be less for that customer?
It would, yes.
Okay, and if you got rentals that are longer than 9 days, sort of extended rentals, does your sales team ever offer like a discount or discounted rate to those customers?
The sales staff does have the ability to offer discounted rates to customers, yes.
Okay. Josh, I think that's all the questions I've got for you at the moment. There may be some cross-examination questions if you can just stick around.
Evergreen, do you have any thoughts?
No questions for this witness, thank you.
Now? No. Interview services.
Let me stop a few questions. Josh, we're trying to get this mic so you can see me. Not that you want to, but you got me?
Yep.
I got you.
Josh, you acknowledge that you don't know Seth Simonson, correct?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
You acknowledge, isn't it true that you don't know Seth Simonson?
I do not.
Okay. You mentioned the screenshots. I think you, in reference to Exhibit 26. Do you have that in front of you?
I do not.
Objection, it mischaracterizes the witness's testimony. I mentioned the screenshots.
All right, well, allow me to question counsel as to what screenshots he referred to.
Oh, objection sustained, but please, go ahead.
What are you referring to? What screenshots were you referring to?
The screenshots that were introduced by you.
Exhibit 26.
Yeah,
Okay.
Exhibit 26.
All right, so you don't have Exhibit 26 in front of you?
I do not, no.
Exhibit 26 are screenshots that your counsel referred to, and they contain Republic's prices across the state in different locations for 9-day service on a 20-yard roll-off. Understand that?
Yes.
Okay, and within various different places in the state, it appears as though Republic's prices are very different. My question is, do you know why?
A lot of times there are different factors on different sites, from disposal sites to different operating costs that might factor into those prices.
But you don't know as you sit there today, why there are varied prices?
Objection asked and answered.
I'll change the question. I'll withdraw that one. Would you agree with me that Republic's prices are based on basic supply demand principles?
I would not agree with that.
Okay, why do you disagree with that?
I disagree with that because there are a number of factors that go into pricing out each individual customer based on their needs.
Certainly. And I don't know what you mean about needs, but you have Republic's costs, right? Those factor into price, correct?
Yes.
But the amount of profit that you can make off a particular job is completely dependent on the competition that Republic has. Isn't that true?
No,
Okay, why is that not true?
because in the sales world, relationships usually take precedence most of the time over price.
Okay, so are relationships so poor in the Flathead as contrasted with Bozeman, that your customers in Bozeman have a price that's about half of what it is in the Flathead?
I can't speculate on that question.
I don't want you to. I don't have any further questions.
I have just one question for you, just by way of clarification. You spoke a little bit about the fact that the sales reps have the ability to offer discounted rates. Did I understand the testimony correctly?
I'm sorry, I could only hear half of that question.
Did I understand your testimony correctly that the sales reps have some ability to offer discounted rates?
They do have that flexibility, yes.
And do they have that ability for all customers or just a limited set of customers?
What our sales team manages are commercial and industrial customers, so those would be the customers that they could offer those discounted rates to.
Thank you very much. I have no other questions. Does someone have any questions?
No.
Some recross as a result of my question. Evergreen,
Nothing, thank you.
LNL,
I have nothing.
CW Services,
No questions.
and redirect.
No redirect. Republic requests this witness be permanently excused.
Any objections to excusing this witness permanently?
None.
No objection.
Thank you, sir. You are permanently excused.
Thank you.
Please call your next witness at your convenience, Mr. Sullivan.
Republic calls Catherine Bernhardt.
Alright. Ms. Bernhardt, do you swear the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Thank you. We have proceeded to counsel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, Ms. Bernhardt. Not good like that. All right. Catherine, where you live? Right, and who is your employer?
Services.
Yes. Kathy, you'll have to speak up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Public Services,
And how long have you been with Republic?
4 years,
What's your current job title?
General Manager of Western Montana.
And does that Western Montana district include Flathead County?
Yes, it does.
Catherine, in your role as the general manager, do you regularly connect with Republic's employees in Flathead County?
Yes, on a daily cadence.
Okay, what do you mean by on a daily cadence?
We have a morning cross-functional huddle. It includes our maintenance and operations representatives from Flathead County, from Whitefish and Ronan divisions, where we go over routing from day prior. Did we meet the needs and close our routes from the day prior, as well as equipment and personnel needs to execute on the routes for the day ahead.
Okay. What do you, I heard you say close our routes. What do you mean by close our routes?
It means did we actually close the routes in the system, but it also means, did we execute on routes picking up all the customers from the day prior?
Okay. So if you didn't pick up a customer, would you find out about that necessarily the next day?
Not necessarily. Some customers will call in same day and we work to recover those same day, but there are also customers that call in next day, if not even multiple days later.
You can't control the customer's call.
No.
When you do find out that there's been an issue, what do you do?
I kind of review that individually with my team in question, are there any patterns or things that we could have done differently? And then if it's something that kind of is identified as a repetitive issue, then we have our logistics analyst, which is Chad referred to earlier as our dispatch, directly call that customer.
Okay. How often do you find that this happens? You have these recurring issues?
It's rare.
Okay. Other than maybe general staffing issues, have there been reoccurring issues in the Flathead County area?
No.
Okay. Let's talk about the staffing piece then. How is staffing a reoccurring issue in this area?
Flathead County is an expensive market for our employees to live in. And so, we constantly reevaluate what we actually pay our individuals, what benefits we provide to them, PTO, health insurance, all of the above.
Okay. Let's talk about those a little bit. Can you tell me a little bit more about the benefits that Republic provides to its staff?
Yeah, so Republic constantly reevaluates wage at its core just to make sure that we're paying a competitive wage and are able to recruit and retain the best talent, quality and safely, to be able to execute on picking up for our customer base in this market. We offer a variety of different health insurance packages that employees can select which one best suits their needs with their family. And then we kind of have a scaling PTO. So within the first year, individuals are granted paid time off, and that escalates with tenure in our company.
I heard you say you regularly had to reassess it. You had to increase those rates to keep up with the Flathead County market?
Yes, we have every year that I've been here.
So with the compensation and benefits packages that you offer to your staff, are you able to, Republic, is Republic able to hire and retain quality employees in Flathead County?
Yes, I'm very grateful for the team that we have across our Whitefish and Ronan hauling divisions.
Okay. Catherine, if you'll turn in the binder next to you, it's the big black binder, I think. There's a document marked Exhibit H. You recognize that document?
Yes, it's a list of our employees that oversee kind of in support of Flathead.
Okay. Is this something that Republic made filed for this hearing?
Yes.
Okay. Is this document based on data that's kept by Republic in the ordinary course of its business?
Yes.
Is it pure accurate?
Yes.
Okay. At this time, Republic will move for the admission of Exhibit H.
No objection.
No objection. No objection. So moved. Go ahead, Minnie.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So when I look at that document, Catherine, it looks like you've got a number of employees in various roles. And I think I heard you say based in two offices, one in Whitefish and one in Ronan.
Yes.
But all of those employees are used to help serve Flathead County, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Were you here for all the testimony in this hearing so far?
No.
Were you here for parts of the testimony in this hearing?
Yes.
Did you just return from an international trip?
Yes, I did.
Catching up on jet lag a bit?
Yes.
So for the parts of the testimony you did hear, did you hear testimony in this hearing that the Flathead County has been growing even if a bit slowly?
Yes.
Okay. Is Republic capable of keeping up with the growth in Flathead County?
Yes.
Okay, how so?
we have additional employees and equipment that we, keep from a relief perspective, as Chad alluded to, as well as kind of spare trucks. Both, existently, locally and market. And then we also kind of just have another network of resources that we can pull for having drivers, drive in from other divisions or even fly in. From other markets to help support if demand were to spike suddenly.
Great. Would you always have to fly them in?
No.
How often are you in communication with, say, the general manager for Eastern Montana?
On a weekly cadence, if not more frequently.
Okay. So in a nutshell, maybe Republic has the ability to meet current demand with the resources you have.
Yes.
But if that demand increases, it sounds like Republic can reach out to other divisions.
Yeah, we have support in Eastern Montana as well as Northern Idaho would be the two divisions that look to pull from. Kind of from an ease and quickness perspective.
Okay. The applicant, I think, testified earlier in this hearing that Flathead County is Montana's busiest county. With respect to roll-offs, is that your experience?
No.
Okay, well, do you think that's correct?
No.
Why not?
I also oversee Gallatin County, and just based on my experiences and my understanding of the full market across roll-off and waste and construction and demolition industries there, that it is a much larger market than is in Flathead and Grand.
And when you say a much larger market, you mean a larger market for roll-off need?
Yes.
Okay. Or we talk about Republic's capability of meeting demand. What about Republic's willingness to meet demand?
Our team is ready, willing, and able to meet demand here in market. We see it as a responsibility to our community to safely and consistently service our members here.
Do you have, and again, looking back at that exhibit H, do you have staff that work here
Yes.
and live here?
Yes.
Okay, so they're not just serving an area, they're serving their community?
Correct.
Okay. You may not have been here for all the testimony, but at points in the hearing, I think the applicant has characterized Republic, and I'm sort of paraphrasing, but as a large company with lots of resources. Why does that matter for Flathead County?
As David kind of mentioned, there's a lot of fluctuations in volume across Flathead County, and I think that Republic has the resources to be able to pull to meet those fluctuations quickly and readily. Not only do we staff accordingly for demand in market, but we also kind of have additional resources that we can pull so there aren't any major gaps or interruptions.
Okay, let's talk about some of those resources then. Can you flip over to exhibit G? Should be Bates marked, there's a couple pages, and it's AWS 000327.
Yes.
What is this document that we're looking at?
I'm looking at exhibit G, correct?
Correct.
On the front side of the page, oh no, you want me to go to 27, correct?
Correct.
This is our roll-off truck inventory across Flathead market. So over 2021 to 2026, we've consistently had 5 roll-off trucks in market. But the green bar in 2024 and 2025 show that we've actually replaced a total of 3 trucks with brand new equipment over the span of this graph. And on average, we use about 2 trucks kind of over the course of the year.
Okay, so sometimes more than 2, sometimes less than 2, but averaged out 2 trucks.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you'll flip over to the next page, or the prior page, I guess 326 in exhibit G. What is that we're looking at?
This is our roll-off container inventory. It's over the same duration of time, 2021 to 2025 at least. And it goes across all of our different roll-off containers that we utilize in Flathead County across our roll-off and whitefish divisions. And it shows a general increase in us investing in more roll-off container inventory over the last 5 years.
Okay. It looks, as I look at the graph from 2021 to 2023, the line looks steeper, and then it looks like it levels off from 2023 to 2025. Does that accurately characterize the graph?
Yes.
Okay. Were these graphs both page 326 and 327, were those made by Republic in preparation for this hearing?
Yes.
Are those based on data kept by Republic in ordinary courses?
Yes.
Yes.
Do both of those graphs appear accurate to you?
Yes.
Republic will move for the admission of exhibit G.
No objection.
No objection, no objection.
Exhibit G is admitted.
Speaking of the equipment and these roll-off trucks, you all have. I heard some testimony from Evergreen, one of Evergreen's witnesses yesterday. They discussed some technology in their trucks that I had never heard of before, and I think I heard the same from Chad, your driver, this morning. That there's a camera system inside the truck that's used to protect against distracted driving. This is something that Republic has as well as Evergreen?
Yes.
Okay. Chad gave us an overview, but can you just run us one more time through how it works?
Yeah, so we have a forward facing camera, so street view as well as an in-cab facing camera. It does identify kind of distracted driver behavior and send out a verbal alert, but it also does a lot of other things on that. So it'll send an alert if a driver has harsh braking or if they're speeding. It does, monitors eye movement and head movement to see if their eyes are straying from the road for too long. And it sends out that verbal alert and then also sends an alert back to our supervisors, who are, then have, based on what the alert is, preset steps that they would move through on kind of a disciplinary and coaching perspective to ensure that that driver behavior is improved upon. I think that was the thing.
It sounds like Republic takes a pretty strong stance on distracted driving.
Yes, we have a zero tolerance policy for distracted driving.
Okay. It sounds like that system may be expensive to install and maintain.
Yes.
Why does Republic install the system despite the expense?
It's for the safety of our employees as well as the safety for the members of other individuals on the road.
Speaking of acquiring equipment and technology, there was some discussion yesterday on the cost of equipment. You've been operating in this market for a while now. Has the cost of acquiring Class D equipment gone up in the last couple of years?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, just the cost of inputs, the availability of parts, cost of steel have all kind of increased, and have had impacts on, the overall cost of equipment and the ability to execute on this service.
Okay. Have costs gone up in other aspects of the business as well, like fuel, for instance?
Yes, very much so.
And shippers like Republic have had to plan ahead for these cost increases?
Yes.
Okay. Returning back to this idea of technology, one of the other tools I heard the applicant talk about was, I think, AI-powered software through which they could automate most of their scheduling. Does this sound realistic to you based on your experience?
I would say no, I think that you can automate some services, but not the full scope of involvement. I think that human involvement is required as we're providing a service for our customers.
Okay. Fair to say that software contracts parts of the system, but you still have a human element that's critical?
Yeah.
Okay. Does that, I'll withdraw that question. Another point on realistic planning. So the applicant suggested, I think, that they would store their roll-off containers outside on, I guess, what used to be the Hills commercial property, now NWS's commercial property throughout the course of the year. We heard testimony from Evergreen yesterday that raised some concerns about precipitation, turning those into, I think they were called garbage ice cubes in the winter months. What concerns do you have if roll-off containers don't have a place to warm?
Yeah, just from a safety perspective, if you're not equipped with the proper, tools to try to even melt that down, there's just a lot of safety concerns for our employees and the sheer amount of time it takes to thaw an entire roll-off box worth of frozen material.
Okay. Does Republic have a facility in Flathead County that it can use to thaw frozen containers?
Yes, and we actually just expanded it within the last 2 years, so we can fit multiple roll-off containers.
Okay. Does Republic also have a facility in Flathead County where it can repair roll-ons?
Yes, we do.
Does Republic employ staff specifically to repair roll-ons?
Yes.
How busy is what kind of a job is that?
It's a myriad of different things. It's, welding and repairing existing containers. retroing containers for certain customer requests. They do want a lidded container or a specific mod to be ADA compliant. It's also, making sure that all of our containers are branded and suitable and high quality for our customer base. No holes or points in which debris should be able to get loose when we're hauling it from site to site.
Is that a full-time job?
Yes, very much so.
Okay. What's the risk if that facility and that person wasn't there?
I think at that point, you really have to be investing in new capital on a consistent cadence. So there's a cost component on that side for a business, but it's also, just from the cleanliness of the environment and the ability to ensure that, we're not losing excess debris. Which is putting other drivers on risk, and the environment at risk.
Does it implicate safety if you have poorly maintained or unmaintained roll-off containers?
Yes.
How would it do that?
I think it challenges the ability for our drivers to then secure their load safely, both for their own safety and the safety of other drivers.
Let's talk a little bit about public need. Do you think that there's a need in Flathead County for services?
Sure. I mean, I think that we're meeting the need. As kind of Josh alluded to, we do about 110 roll-off hauls a month. So obviously there is a need.
Okay. And do you think that need, well, actually, let me change that question. Were you here for the testimony of Dave Prunty from the landfill yesterday? I think Dave testified that on the long-term average, they plan for about 2% growth in terms of construction debris. Does that sound like a reasonable planning factor for you?
Yes.
Okay, so that would indicate, I think, that there's maybe some growth in terms of the need over time. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay, is Republic capable of meeting that growth?
Yes.
So for those who do need roll-off service in Flathead County, how many can Republic not serve?
No.
Okay. If a customer demands same-day service for an industrial project, is that something Republic is always going to be able to meet?
No, we'll do our best effort to pull work forward.
Okay. I think I heard Josh Lazoya talk a little bit ago about maybe next day or a 2-day service being typical. Is that an accurate characterization from your experience?
Yes.
Big picture question, how is Republic able to meet the public need for roll-offs in Flathead County?
I think that we've made constant investment in, having quality employees and equipment and our ability to execute on work here. Staffing up and even having access equipment to ensure that we're able to meet those fluctuations that David talked yesterday.
Okay, if both Chad and Josh at various points in their testimony discussed the current need for roll-offs that Republic is serving. If that need for roll-offs in Flathead doubled overnight, could Republic still meet that need?
Yes.
Can you help me understand that?
Yeah, we talked about how we're utilizing 1 to 2 of our 5 trained roll-off drivers in the consistent market as is. Also managing down in the rest of Western Montana. We have the ability to pull resources from there. We keep kind of comparable levels of relief drivers that are trained up on roll-off that we can pull from other mode markets overnight and execute on work in the markets in which we need to.
So if I doubled the need, instead of 1 to 2 drivers needed at any point in time, Republic would have 2 to 4 drivers needed at a time?
We could execute on that within our existing labor. And if there was, PTO or sickness or whatever it may be, then we could leverage resources in the rest of the state.
One more, Catherine. That's all the questions I got for you right now, Catherine. There may be some process questions.
Across from everybody.
No questions for those witnesses.
I
did just have a couple questions about this exhibit H. Hi, Catherine.
Good morning.
I'll introduce myself, but we've already asked. Can you tell me, there's some notations next to positions in parentheticals,
Yes.
A and B. And then some of them aren't in parentheticals, but can you tell me what those mean?
Yeah, so A typically means they just hold a higher level of CDL. Most notably, they can haul a trailer.
Okay.
So they could haul 2 roll-off boxes at one time.
That's what I thought, but I
Yeah.
just wanted, I wanted to clear.
You're good. We tried to remove all the names and hire dates and all that information and.
Yes, of course. I appreciate it. Thank you. No further questions.
Human Services?
Couple questions. Morning, Catherine.
Morning.
You attended the hearing in 2025 on NW Services application, correct?
Yes, I did.
And you testified, I think, after Jake Persinger,
Yes.
and you were there for his testimony.
Correct.
I want to talk to you first about differential in wages. You said there was a difference. Well, what do you pay a new driver in Bozeman?
We start out at. I don't know the exact number. I know that I should. I know.
Okay, so you don't know. Do you know the exact number in Kalispell?
No, because we haven't hired anyone in a while. It varies across non-CDL and CDL drivers though.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about a CDL driver that would drive a roll-off truck. And I think your answer is that you know neither for Gallatin and Flathead counties.
Correct. We updated all of those in February, and as Lucas said, I returned from a vacation. I do not know those numbers off the top of my head right now.
Okay. And then you said that then there's different benefits and stuff. Would you agree with me that your truck driver that you just hired in Bozeman is getting the same health insurance benefit that your Flathead driver is getting?
Not necessarily. They kind of self-select into which level of coverage that they would like.
What if I was a new driver in Bozeman and you were a new driver in Kalispell and you selected a health plan? I could select the same one.
You could, yes.
So the benefit is commensurate that way, correct? Health insurance?
If the employee chooses to self-select in that way, yes. We have 3 different tiers.
Okay. You said an automated service system or AI service system is not gonna work totally, correct?
Objection, misstates the witness's testimony.
All right, well, let me ask you what you said about the AI thing.
I think that there are some tasks that can be automated, but I think a human, involvement from a service perspective is important.
And as far as servicing Montana, where is the human element when I call for a roll-off? Is it in the state? Where's the service center that I would?
It varies.
Okay. Did you hear the testimony from the gentleman yesterday? I think 2 of them that suggested that maybe they were talking with somebody affiliated with Republic that English may be a second language.
Yes,
Could that have happened?
it is possible. I don't directly manage that team.
So where are the service centers?
They're all over. They're all over a wide variety of locations.
So I could call into Republic today and end up in a service center anywhere in the United States.
You could get someone in Montana, or you could get somewhere in a variety of different pods.
Could I get someone in a foreign country?
I'm not sure of that specifically.
Yes. Talked about next day service, which is a goal. You hear Mr. Persinger testify about the next day service being a goal last year.
Sounds right.
Do you recall Mr. Persinger's statement that it would be next day or within 3 days after that would be the goal for Republic?
I don't recall that specifically being a year ago, but it sounds.
I'm gonna hand you the transcript, represent to you that this is Mr. Persinger's testimony at the last hearing.
Great. Thank you.
And if you want the full transcript, I can get it to you, but I don't think you need it. Catherine, what page is that highlighted?
406 to 409. This is page 406 specifically.
Does that refresh your recollection of
Yes,
the
thank you.
testimony? The testimony is that, as far as he was concerned, Republic met its goal of providing next day service or within 3 days afterwards, which is 4 days, 90% of the time.
Okay.
Is that what he said?
That's what it seems, yes.
Council, could you just let me know what page you've asked her to look at?
It's page 406, lines 15 through 8.
This has been produced to the commission.
Yeah, I think I have, it, but yeah, just take a look at this. So.
Don't you have?
Yeah,
Oh, that's- Right, I have no further questions. Thank you, Kathleen.
I have no questions for this witness. No. Redirect.
One redirect question, Madam Chair. Catherine, I'm gonna, permission to approach the witness.
Yes.
Thank you. Catherine, I'm going to show you the same page on the same document we're just looking at. But in this case, I'm gonna read the full answer to that question rather than just a partial answer, Paul had you read a moment ago. When your colleague was asked about that service time frame, the beginning of his answer says, "I can't give you exact data, but I know that, we are on, I would say 90% of the time we're delivering next day service or within that 3-day range afterwards." So is it fair, but let me pause. Did I read that correctly?
You read that correctly.
Okay, is it fair to understand that your colleague wasn't sure about the answer and was trying to give a reasonable understanding in context?
Objection, speculation. She has no idea what he was thinking.
I'll withdraw the question. Catherine, I have nothing further. Thank you so much.
Would you like to come with the excuses?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We permanently excuse this witness.
Any objections?
No objection.
No. Thank you. Thank you. You're permitted excuse.
Madam Chair, if the commission will permit a 5-minute break just to collect our thoughts, and then we're probably ready to move on.
Yes, thank you. It is 10:32. We're off to the record.
Let's do 10.
You're back on the record. It is 10:43. Republic would like to have your witness.
At this time, Madam Chair, Republic rests.
All right, thank you. Ellen else.
Thank you. I was gonna give a brief opening, if I could. The PSC issued L&L Site Services Grizzly Disposal and Recycling Class D authority, under PSC number 9586, which includes this very small southern portion of Flathead County on January 6th of this year. It's been 142 days, 4 months and 22 days. Under 6912-323 subsection 3, if Northwest Services has met its burden, evidentiary burden in this hearing, the commission can issue the certificate of public convenience and necessity as requested in the application or in part, and may attach terms and conditions to that certificate that in the commission's judgment, the public convenience and necessity require. What L&L's position in this hearing is, since we don't have authority throughout Flathead County, is for the commission to, since L&L was just granted that authority in Flathead County, southern Flathead County, to exclude that portion if it decides to grant Northwest Services application. Under the 4-part test, the evidence that we will put on today will show basically we're addressing the last 2 prongs. That if there is demonstrated need, are the existing providers willing and able to meet that need? And the evidence that we'll put on today will show that L&L Grizzly is more than ready and willing to meet that need and has the equipment, resources, employees to do so, customer service representatives as well. If the second prong, which is that last prong of the 4-part test, if there is need that cannot be met by existing carriers, will grant you the requested authority in the proposed service area harm existing carriers to an extent contrary to the public interest. I believe our evidence will show that, in fact, if authority is granted to Northwest Services in that portion of Flathead County, that it will harm L&L Grizzly to an extent contrary to the public interest. And so that concludes my opening statement. I will call Billy Fisher to the stand.
I know this can be a little bit, so.
It's hard.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. You were sworn in yesterday, is that correct?
I was,
Just a reminder, you're going through it.
yes.
Okay, please see council.
I'm not gonna ask if I can call you Billy.
Be weird not to.
Billy, what is your position at L&L?
General manager, for now Missoula and our Lake County, Flathead County operations.
And what does that general manager position over here in Missoula and Lake and part of Flathead County, what does that entail?
Obviously that we're meeting our daily job requirements. I meet with multiple managers, but it's oversight of the business, financial responsibility, and I do a lot of expansive efforts into other areas.
How long have you been in that general manager position?
Just under 5 years, a little 4.5.
And where did you work before that?
Republic Services.
And how long were you with Republic?
About the same time frame. I think it's just a little under 5 years.
And what was your job title at Republic?
Operations manager for Western Montana.
And so with your experience at Republic and L&L, how long have you worked in the garbage industry in Montana?
Just under 10 years.
Are you familiar with the Lake County, Flathead County area?
Very.
How?
I managed it for a while. I've lived here all my life. I was
born and raised in Polson. I actually managed a concrete construction company in Kalispell for 4 years. So, very familiar with it.
Were you involved in L&L Grizzly's decision to file for the Class D application at issue here?
Yes,
And how were you involved?
I filled it out. Yeah, all aspects of it, obviously you and I worked on it, but I filled it out, I determined the area, what we wanted to do. I went to shippers, got affidavits, talked to customers, potential customers, you know, everything that's involved with the application.
And I believe Mr. Sandry asked you yesterday when that application was filed. And I think you said yesterday that it was October 2025. Did you review that?
Yeah, yeah.
When was it actually filed?
It was filed in August, the notice was given in October.
Perfect. Are you familiar with the proposed service area?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me, did it include all of Lake County
Yes,
and part of Flathead County?
yes,
And how would you describe the portion of Flathead County that's included?
pretty easily, Big Fork Lakeside to a northern boundary,
And so it's a radius of Big Fork.
and a radius of Lakeside to, you know, a point not to extend on the northern boundary.
Was it your idea to amend the service area?
No,
What do you know about the amendment?
we amended our area, made it smaller. We saw there's an overlap with us and Evergreen, and we did not think there was a need for us to overlap Evergreen, so we reduced the service area to Alpine Coasters in Lakeside.
And there was some discussion. Let's see, did you review Evergreen's Class D authority?
Yeah, I did. So there's 3 of them, but 2710 is the only one that really matters here.
Okay. If you look at, let's see, I think Republic introduced this earlier, exhibit F, the list of authorities,
Which one?
in the Republic binder. Exhibit F at page 8.
Yeah,
That's 2710.
it is.
And how many sub authorities are described under there?
Boy. And
And so it's maybe understandable that you might have been a bit confused about whether there was an overlap originally.
I don't know if anybody in this room could figure this out.
Is there a map somewhere that you can look at that says here's everybody's individual territory?
They're creating one right now at the public service level. I know I've used a little bit, but not to this detail with all these subparts in here.
Want you also to look at, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
We want you to look at L&L exhibit. Five. Nope. Nope, stay on F there. On page 26.
26 of it.
Yes, of F.
Yeah.
There was some discussion, or confusion. Last week when we were talking about the original service area on the east side of the lake near Big Fork. Originally, it mentioned 2 intersections.
Yep.
Along MT 35. Why was that changed to just the 1?
It made the northern boundaries more simple. 82 and 35 is above 82 and 83 by 0.2 miles. So we just thought it more simple to say 8335, so it's one simple stop point, and then it would just make it more simple and actually reduce the size of the permit by 0.25 miles.
And you can close Republic's exhibit book now. Does L&L Grizzly have any conflict with NW Services proposed service area in Flathead County beyond that small portion of Flathead County where we now have authority?
No.
When did the PSC issue that new authority, or excuse me, when the PSC issues new authority to a Class D carrier, how does that happen?
They make a decision, they issue it, they send us the golden sheet in the mail. I actually received this via email for this authority in January of this year.
And once you received that, what was your understanding of L&L Grizzly's authority to operate in the service area?
They're ready to roll.
And what action did you take on behalf of L&L Grizzly after you received that?
We fully staffed. We placed orders for new roll-up trucks. They use specialized tubs up there, nothing to do with roll-off, but we had to get some different containers to get in. The staffing containers, vehicles, I leased ground, bought a shop, just whatever it takes to get the business running.
Did you do any advertising in the area?
Yeah, we actually advertised in December 1st saying that, hey, we may be coming to town, hold your horses. And then we've continued ever since.
And do you know approximately what the cost of, or how much you spent on advertising?
We're a little over $10,000 right now.
And where did you buy advertising?
Anderson Broadcasting, Town Square Media, Town Mailer, that's mailing, and then a Missoula Broadcasting. And then we actually advertised with the Polson Chamber now. Those locations.
Is that include radio and television?
Yes, no television, radio, digital, mailer.
When did L&L Grizzly begin operating in the new service area?
Well, right away we began operating. Our first day of service was the last day of January, or the 29th, last day.
Couple days left.
Yeah.
When, do you know when you first provided service or roll-off service in Flathead County?
That was the guy. So the 29th of January, he was just north of Woods Bay at a home demolition. Called us, and it was a learning process for us all. Lake County, I think Flat's the same way. You now have to fill out a demolition request from the landfill, and you have to submit it. So anyway, it was a good process to go through, but that was our first customer.
You mentioned leasing ground. Tell me about that.
We leased, it's a 40-acre plot. We leased the back 3 acres from Smith Paving in Polson.
And how was the term of that lease?
1 year.
What is L&L Grizzly paying for that?
We pay $4,500 a year for the land. We're basically paying the taxes, and then we also provide service to the shop, monthly service with a tub.
And how big is, what size container is that?
1.5 cubic yards.
And it's once a week?
Yes.
And so that's how much would that be worth?
$125 a month.
And what's that property, what is L&L Grizzly gonna use that property for, or is using that?
So right now it's a site for our trucks, crew in, crew out, our container locations. And I don't know if it'll be their future operation yet. We're looking to get something in the ground, but I don't know if that's gonna be it or not.
And did you put a shop on that?
Yeah, a mobile shop. It's pretty unique.
Would you wanna spend a bunch of time there?
No.
Okay. Tell me about, did L&L Grizzly hire any new or additional employees to serve this new territory?
Yeah, we have a operations sales manager up there to handle the crew in, crew out. We have 2 permanent drivers up there. We have an account manager for that area specifically. And then I have 2 part-time drivers that we utilize out of the Missoula operation.
Okay, so 2 full-time drivers, 2 part-time drivers.
Yes,
Is there any of those drivers solely dedicated to providing roll-off service?
1 in Lake County, and the 2 part-time drivers, that's what they do as well. But solely 1,
And what are you paying those drivers?
$27 an hour.
What about the part-time?
Same.
Same, okay.
Same.
And you hired a manager?
Yep,
And what are you paying, salary?
yep, 85,000 a year.
Okay, and then was there customer service? Somebody or?
Yep.
service?
Yeah, so she's customer service account manager. She's salary as well. It'll be around 70,000 by the time it all gets said and done.
When somebody from Lake County or Flathead County calls L&O Grizzly for roll-off service, what number are they calling?
5417171,
And where does that go?
Missoula.
And how many customer service representatives do you have there?
5.
And are they familiar with the area?
Yes, very. My gosh, we probably have the most tenured staff in the state. I have a lady that's been doing it for 40 years. I have one that's 30, the other one's like 15. And we just hired one from the Ronan Lake area that managed Lake and Flathead for 20 years as well.
Since receiving that new authority from the PSC, has L&O Grizzly acquired customers in the area?
Yes,
Do you know how many?
today, no, I pulled a report a week ago and we were at 620. I'm sure it's higher than that today.
And do you have any, and I know we didn't talk about this, but do you have any idea approximately, does that include roll-off customers?
Yes.
And do you know about how many?
I don't know how many customers we have, but I did look it up that we've hauled 50 boxes so far. So since we've been in operation up there.
And does that include Lake and Flathead?
Yes,
Do you know the breakdown of?
we've hauled 6 in Flathead County.
Does L&O Grizzly require those roll-off customers to enter written contracts?
No,
And does L&O Grizzly we've heard some talk about a site evaluation. Is that something that L&O Grizzly does?
yeah, frequently.
And what does that entail?
There's any question, we can get up there. Most of the time it's winter stops. Lake County is tough. It's mountainous stops, off the, dirt roads. So we had to look at that, make sure for one, the little bridges that get in there can handle our trucks. No one really knows that but us. You have to make sure you can get in there with the turning radius. You have to be able to turn around. You do have to do it quite a bit. In Missoula, we're so familiar with it. It doesn't happen as often, but it happens a lot in Lake County, right now.
So when a customer in Flathead County calls L&L Grizzly seeking roll-off service, how does that work?
They call us, we will dispatch either the driver if he has a slow time in Lake County or the operations manager will lead.
And do you have any idea how long from that customer making that request to it is to deliver a container?
We haven't been over 24 hours yet. Most of the time, seriously, especially if they're the same day, we're only doing 2 or 3 a day right now.
And does L&L Grizzly charge a delivery fee for that?
We do?
And daily rent?
Yes.
And what's the delivery fee?
There's 2 different areas in Lake and Flathead. One's 150, one's 250.
What's the difference between those 2 areas?
The radius away from where our shop's at.
When a customer requests an on-demand dump of a roll-off or wants the container removed, how does that work?
Traditionally, it is one of our supervisors or a transfer driver right now. So we will schedule them in advance.
And so when they make that request, how long does it take for L&O Grizzly to dump that container?
Well, it's on demand. We're gonna do it next day and it's gonna be continual.
Did L&O Grizzly acquire any new equipment or move equipment from its existing operations to?
So we acquired 4 new trucks. We took control of them, I think in April. I actually flew over with 3 guys and drove them back from Fargo. That's something that everybody in this room should do once.
Drive a truck from Fargo?
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, we bought that, brought them up there. We utilized some of our other vehicles to start out with, but we had to replace them with these newer vehicles to keep up.
So those 4 new trucks, are those brand new or?
So they are to us. They're 24s, but have never been used. We got a pretty good deal on them, which a good deal is $300,000. But yeah, they're new, just never used. They're not 26s or 25s.
And you said each of those was 300,000?
Yep.
And any of those new trucks are those dedicated roll-off?
Yeah, 2 of them are.
How many roll-off containers does L&L Grizzly have to use in Flathead County?
230.
And what sizes does L&L Grizzly have to get?
20, 25, 30, 40. We do have 10s and 15s. We never use them. I have the ability to use another 150. They're sitting in Belgrade. We do that daily now, just if one operation is flexing more than the other. We go back and forth quite a bit between 2 operations. So in total, we're just a little over 800 containers.
Any other equipment that L&L Grizzly acquired to provide service in this new territory?
We have a, you call it a supervisor truck. The supervisor drive sets up there to do deliveries, site checks, random, check on a bear container, check on a lock, whatever you need to do for your customer service issues.
What about compactors?
We purchased a compactor for the new casino in Lake County. And then we have taken over service of 5 other compactors, which is kind of a big deal when you're, we have 2 different types of trucks than your competition. So you have to take and you have to revamp the container to fit your truck. So it's kind of a process.
And those compactors, are they necessary to provide roll-off service or?
Yes, like you said, right now we have, well, 6 permanent ones now with the new one, but a lot of places like to utilize them that have larger waste. Like we have grocery stores, hotels up there in Missoula, so we have a ton of them. But a lot of people utilize compactors to save on the haul costs.
And L&L Grizzly, what kind of Class D services is L&L Grizzly providing to that new territory?
All residential, commercial, and roll-off.
And when did the residential and commercial routes start?
March 1st.
With the advertising, the property lease, new hires, additional equipment, approximately how much has L&L Grizzly invested in providing Class D service in the territory?
A little over $2 million.
And in your opinion, Billy, is L&L Grizzly meeting the need for roll-off services in the Flathead County portion of its area?
Yeah, I mean, we can take out so much capacity right now. It's ridiculous, right? We're waiting, like we're trying to grow. We're trying to get these accounts. So for sure, we're meeting the current need.
I want to talk about or address something that Mr. Sandry brought up yesterday. If you could look at Northwest Services exhibit book, exhibit number 34. I'll turn to page 2. Oh no, 002.
Yes.
What is that document?
It's an annual report.
What year? What year?
2020.
Okay. At the bottom of that page is the total expenses. Can you tell me what that number is?
$8,098,000.
And then on page 14.
L 14.
Yes.
From there,
Tell me what year that report is.
2022.
What are the total expenses at the bottom of that page for 2022?
14,200,000.
And do you know what factors contributed to increase L&L's expenses by over $6 million between 2020 and 2022?
Mostly me. So
Explain that.
yeah, no, I got you. We acquired the permit in Missoula, and obviously we had asset allocation. Yeah, building allocation. Obviously salaries are starting to come in there, employees, yada, yada.
And where is L&L Grizzly disposing? It's Missoula County.
Right now we are taking it to Deer Lodge and Helena.
Does that cost a little bit of extra money?
Yeah, I can give you the exact figure, but yes, it's a large amount.
Turn to L&L 19.
Yes,
What year is that?
2023.
What are the total expenses for 2023?
19,400,000.
So it's up another 5.2 million from,
Yes,
could you turn to L&L 29?
yeah,
What year is that?
2025.
And what's the total revenue at the top of that page?
26,300,000.
Okay, and at the bottom, total expenses?
24,600,000.
So what's the net income?
1.7, 1.697.
And so is it fair to say, and I did this math, so someone should probably check it. Is it fair to say that amounts to a profit margin of about 7% there?
Yep.
That's less than half L&L's profit margin of 15.5% from the prior year.
Yeah, you don't have to keep bringing it up.
Sorry. I don't want to hurt your feelings. I know how sensitive you are. Who is L&L Grizzly currently in Flathead County?
For public services and Evergreen School.
Do you have concerns, Billy, about an additional carrier entering the market there?
For us, it'd be a financial, like a burden that we'd have to compete with in routing matrices, and stability in the market's a big thing for the consumer. When we got this permit, all my assumptions were that we were gonna take a certain percentage of these markets. So that would lead to less stability for us in those areas. As I've seen in Missoula, 4 years is not enough to be a profitable business. So this would extend our window. Obviously, we'd probably sustain it and live through it. But it's gonna take a lot longer to be a profitable business.
And how would that affect the public?
Because we'd have to, maybe raise rates, potentially not having staff to go service the area. Those are the two biggest issues.
And is there a particular concern related to the fact that NW Services is seeking to provide roll-off service only, or is that?
It's hard because we're all part of everything that we do. So taking that out of what we do would limit what we could potentially offer those two areas.
Is the profit margin higher for roll-off services?
Yes.
Can you explain to me why?
Larger containers, larger amounts. I mean, you're hauling 5 to 10 tons, where you're hauling 100 pounds, 50 pounds on the other ones. So there's a larger volume per transaction.
In your opinion, if NW Services application is granted, will L&L Grizzly's operations in Flathead County be harmed to an extent contrary to the public interest?
Just for the reasons I gave earlier.
I have no further questions for this witness.
Cross by Evergreen.
Briefly, yes. Hi, Billy, I'm Peggy Tavis. I represent Evergreen Disposal. Ms. Garrow asked you about pay for employees. You recall that?
Yep.
In addition to their hourly pay, do L&L's employees also receive benefits?
Yep.
You've been in the business, you said about 10 years.
Yep.
Your experience is offering benefits important.
It's huge. We get a lot of these younger, kids and what I call, harder able workers because we offer these benefits of health insurance paid, 401k benefits, PTO, like they can't really jump into any other industry and get those kind of stable benefits. So we're proud to offer those benefits.
And in your experience, is offering benefits important to employee retention?
Huge.
And in your experience, is offering employee benefits important to the stability of a garbage hauling?
Yes.
Would you be able to offer a stable of services if you didn't offer benefits in your experience?
What? Stable?
Would you be able to offer a stable of services to customers?
No, it would be harder. You'd be, I've seen both sides from the construction side of things where we didn't offer benefits to where we offer benefits now. Retention is a lot easier, in this industry with this structure.
No further questions.
Your public, any questions?
No questions for this witness, Madam Chair.
Interview services.
I have a few questions. Billy, you were taking a look at, I think exhibit 34, L&L 29. And you commented on the profit margin of L&L in calendar year 2025.
Yeah.
That number's a little bit skewed by the capital purchases, correct? Made in 2025.
I'm just making sure they're in here. Yes.
Okay. And that was all in anticipation of wrapping up for the newly acquired territory?
Yep.
Okay. What are your prices for roll-off rentals, say a 20-yard rental?
We're the same for everything. So 20, 30, 40, we don't charge any different for any different sizes. And so in the Flathead County that we're talking about, we're either 275 or 325, depending on how far away it is. There's a certain area that's a little bit farther away.
275 per what?
Haul,
Okay. But how about the rental itself?
$3 a day.
$3 a day. Okay. And then as part of that territory, you have Lake County too?
Yes.
Okay, and that Lake County refuse has to go to Deer Lodge or Helena?
Nope. Lake County goes to Lake County.
Oh. Okay. How many newly acquired areas has L&L entered into since your tenure?
3.
How many?
3.
Great. And isn't it true that in every one of those areas, the garbage haulers that were existing at the time that the applications were granted continued to service the area?
True.
They didn't go under.
Nope.
You indicated that there would be an impact in the event NW Services application was granted, correct?
Yes.
You think L&L is robust enough to continue to provide services to the southern Flathead County customers in the event NW Services is granted authority?
Yes.
I have nothing further.
I have no questions. No. Need to read it. You just witness permanently excused? Yes. Thank you, Mr. Fisher.
Thank you.
I have no further witness. No further witness. Arrests. All right. We'll go off the record for about 5 minutes. The time is 11:17. We are back on the record. It is 11:23. Mr. Sandry, would you like to, the services rebuttal? Okay.
Yeah, very briefly, NW Services calls Merrill Hill.
Ms. Hill, do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Please state your name.
Carol Hill.
Merrill, you were here yesterday during some examination by Republic Council concerning an encumbrance on a parcel of property in Big Fork that was historically owned by you, Mitch.
Mhm.
Okay, and specifically, there was a suggestion that the parcel of real property contributed to the capital of NW Services had an encumbrance on it. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yes.
It means it's used as security for a loan.
Mhm.
Is there an encumbrance
Ms.
on the
Hill?
property?
You'll have to speak up and actually say yes.
Is there an encumbrance on the property contributed by you and Mitch to NW Services?
There's not, there's no debt on that property at all.
Okay. Second thing, there's concern expressed by, I think, Evergreen and Republic that there would be frozen containers. Between you, Mitch and Adam, do you have heated shops?
We do, we have 3 between the 3 of us.
Could those be utilized to address the concern of Republic and Evergreen?
Absolutely.
I have nothing further.
Evergreen, any cross?
Just briefly, hi there. Those heated shops are, just to be clear, none of those are on the property that was transferred to NWS, correct?
No.
Nothing further. Okay.
Republic, any cross?
No question. No questions for this.
I have no questions. No. Mr. Sandry, redirect.
None.
May this witness be permanently excused?
I think so. Thank you.
Thank you.
NW Services does not have any additional rebuttal evidence.
Okay, thank you. Move on to closing arguments. Let's start with the applicant NW Services. Would you like to make a closing argument?
I would. Thank you. So the same issues exist, but now we have a little bit of context to put those in. Is NW Services willing and able to provide the service? Well, willing, let's talk about that. Having gone through this sort of arduous process twice, I think there's a little question, but that they're willing, they really want to enter into the roll-off service industry, and they're earnest about it. So they fit between the 3 principles of NW Service. They have a skill set that is highly educated, conversant in the heavy equipment matters, and are more than capable of running a business. In fact, 2 of them run their own businesses. And I count one as Sandry Construction with Mitchell Hill, which is a much bigger enterprise than NW Services would probably ever be in the roll-off industry. So yeah, they're fit. Are they able? The concern of the commission, I think, on the first go around was how thinly capitalized NW Services was. That's changed. Kind of. I mean, it really hasn't changed. Mitchell and Merrill still have the same assets. They've been reconfigured. And so as it stands now, NW Services has about $500,000 worth of assets. And if the application is granted, Adam Sneed is contractually obligated to contribute another $500,000, which makes $1 million bucks. Rod Lease came in and said that he would loan $1 million. And when pushed for terms, interest rates and so forth, he even suggested that given the net worth of the individuals ultimately behind NW Services, he would loan that on an unsecured basis. $1 million loan on an unsecured basis. These folks are financially strong. They can do it. So The threshold question of fit, willing, and able, I think that the evidence shows that they pass it. I don't think there's any evidence that they don't. There was some testimony, and a lot of it, regarding the concern that NW Services would just have one truck and one driver. And initially they'd have to do that. The one example of a startup that was probably like that without a roll-off truck probably is LLL Services, Lance Johnson, who started small and now got Billy Fisher on board. I don't know if that's a great idea. He turned his small business into something that is formidable. I mean, we're talking multi-million-dollar business. And so I think NW Services is poised to make the same sort of run. They can do it. The one truck business. It's a little disingenuous, I think, for Republic to complain about one truck being dedicated to roll-offs for NW Services, while their employee acknowledges that there's only one truck for Republic that's dedicated to roll-off services in the Flathead. We're not even really talking about anything different in terms of what's dedicated to the operation. Is there a public need? That's the next question. The population growth in Flathead from 2020 to 2025 is north of 10%. That's big. And if you live here and you want to take a left-hand turn in the summertime, you'll figure out that 10.5% is probably short. It's busy here. The garbage that gets generated, the construction waste, that's up 41% from 2020. I get it. 2020 was a COVID year. But it's up 35% from 2021. It's big. Has it plateaued off? Are we done growing? Are we just fine with what we have here? I don't think so. And the reason I say that is because one, we have public commenters coming in there that talk about their dissatisfaction with roll-offs and ability to get them. Two, there was a myriad of contractors that walked through here that have resorted to self-hauling. None of them want to self-haul. They're self-hauling because they can't get adequate service. And so I understand that we have Google reviews and we have customer feedback, some of which got introduced into evidence that says you guys are doing a great job. That's great. I'm happy those people are being serviced properly, but some aren't. And to highlight the public need, we only need to look to Jake Persinger's testimony from a Republic last year, which had been introduced to this hearing, where he says 10% of the time, Republic fails to meet its goal of next day service or 3 days thereafter. That's 4 days. Jake admits 10% of the time we whiff. That's a lot. That's a lot for any business. So on the customer service side of things need to improve. And they haven't for those contractors. Now, is there unmet need? How about the contractors are self-hauling? The contractors would rather hire a third-party contractor like Republic, Evergreen, L&L, or NW Services to supply them service. They said they would if they could get good service. That's unmet need. And it's a lot of it. Finnmark Construction has 12 sites going on at any given time. That's 12 roll-offs. And they're not the biggest residential construction contractor in the valley. Those 40 boxes that NW Services intends to acquire would be used right away out of the gate if these contractors that are self-hauling would use them. That wouldn't touch Republic or Evergreen's business. That's sheer unmet need. the public interest part. We know from Montana Supreme Court that if there's a need for public service and the applicant's fit to provide it, even if existing carriers could provide that service, and they could be harmed by the application, if competition could promote the public interest, the permit should be granted. And this case cries out for that. The only testimony you have is that Republic and Evergreen don't compete. Evergreen doesn't even care what Republic's prices are. They don't know what Republic's prices are because it's irrelevant to them. Mr. Ewing said that yesterday. Mr. Ewing didn't even really know his own prices. And he couldn't give me a price. He couldn't give me a price for downtown Kalispell. He's a general manager there. What is the secrecy of the pricing? I don't know. Republic wasn't much better. They charge me in Big Fork $1,200 for a 9-day dumpster, and the same dumpster in the Gallatin, Bozeman, which is every bit as busy probably as the Flathead, is not half, but 500 and some bucks. Explain to me how that works. Well, Republic tried. Republic put a witness on the stand this morning, that told me it's probably because of benefit differences with drivers and stuff. She couldn't tell you what the driver's rates were in Flathead or Gallatin County. She could tell you that the benefit packages were the same. She couldn't differentiate. She knew it wasn't competition, but that's not a satisfactory answer because it is competition. Why did the Great Falls rate for Republic dive so bad? As was elicited in the testimony of Mitchell. Because the PSC granted a new permit over there. That's what happens when you have some competition. There's zero competition here. And competition is a factor that's not to be solely considered. But in this case, it should be heavily considered because there is none. A Republic or Evergreen, for that matter, L&L, gonna go out of business if the applicant is granted authority. I don't think so. And there wasn't any testimony that suggested that anyone was going to go out of business. There wasn't any testimony, and that's not the criteria, I get it. Is an existing hauler going to be harmed or adversely impacted to the extent it impairs the ability to service the customer base? And none of them could say it would. They all had to admit that they would still service the customer base. At best, Evergreen suggested that they wouldn't be able to contribute or donate or do something charitable with regard to the fair. And then there was some recycling stuff there. But they weren't going to get hurt to the extent that they couldn't service you or me, if that's what they were doing. And so at the end of the day, proverbial day, we're asking that the application be granted. That's all I have. Thanks.
Evergreen. Would you like to put the closing argument?
Yes, briefly. Thank you for the time and hearing examiner commission staff the past few days. We appreciate it. The commission is well aware of the factors it must consider in granting any Class C permit. I'm not going to recite them again. Commission memos and decisions. I will say, however, Mr. Sandry, in his opening and closing, did rely on a lot of statements that aren't in the evidentiary record that's before the commission today. Fortunately, perhaps for me, I've been doing garbage hearings for a long time. And for example, I can tell you, I think L&L did have a roll-up to start. They started a truck to start their business. They started as a roll-up company. That's not in the evidence today. That's not something the commission considers in whether or not to grant this application. In his opening, Mr. Sandry told you a lot of things that he proved that didn't come to fruition here. He said he would show that his client is fit, willing, and able. I was here for the last hearing last year. As compared to that, he's shown access to a bit more cash. His clients, NWS's principals admit they have no experience in the Class D hauling industry. Mr. Sandry, in closing, asks you to accept instead that they're earnest, have other business experience. It's not a substitute for this industry. The commission heard testimony from multiple witnesses in this industry about the dangers of this industry and the peculiarities of this industry. AI is not going to solve your routing in the roll-off business where customer needs can vary daily. NWS presented what they appear to admit is an unrealistic business plan. They plan to have one truck. That's one breakdown away from no service. And in testimony, they said, well, maybe we'll add another truck. They don't have a plan. Their plan is to come up with a plan later. Mr. Sandry, in his opening, said he would offer evidence of price gouging and said that that was no exaggeration. As to my client, Evergreen Disposal, the reality was that the pricing that NWS has proffered, that it plans to offer, if granted a permit in Flathead County, is within 6% or sometimes more expensive than Evergreen Disposal's same charges for that same service. Mr. Sandry said there would be no harm to existing carriers. However, NWS's witnesses agreed that no analysis had been done. They had no evidence. They had no knowledge of whether there would be harm to existing carriers, which would be contrary to the public interest. The public has an interest, we heard from the gentleman with Flathead County, in recycling services being offered. Services that Evergreen is happy to offer and can do because of the holistic business that they offer at Flathead County. Mr. Sandry would suggest that an unmet need is demonstrated because people self-haul. People do self-haul, that is a choice. However, the testimony from all of the witnesses was that they had not sought out services in at least the last 3 or 4 years from existing carriers. Folks that haven't sought out services aren't showing a need right now for a service that is not being met by existing carriers. As to Evergreen, the only evidence proffered with respect to services in the last few years was the gentleman from Swank Construction who testified that it did take 4 business days to get a specialized container suitable for the safety of the airport so that airplanes aren't dealing with engine blowouts from possible debris strikes. Testimony proffered by Republic showed that Swank's other needs were being met within the same time frame that NWS's principal said was reasonable in this market. Beyond that, Evergreen, the only testimony against Evergreen was one missed pickup. Evergreen acknowledged that it received a call and it didn't pull the container. And immediately upon learning of the mistake, when the customer called, they rectified the situation. They hauled the container and without being asked, they refunded all of the charges. This is a company that is meeting all of the needs in the market. And both Evergreen and Republic testified competently that they have grown with the market and that they can continue to grow and bring in more resources if necessary, should there be additional need. What Evergreen did show is that it's a safe company. Mr. Ewing said it succinctly: safety first, customer second. Customers are important, but the safety of Evergreen's employees and the public at large is the highest concern of any company that's using roads and can cause death with their equipment, and it should be. Evergreen, there was no testimony that Evergreen has ever refused service within its service area. It delivers containers typically within 1 to 2 business days, picks up within 1 to 2 business days. The same numbers that NWS said were reasonable. Mr. Sandry finally would have you believe that growth equals need. Growth doesn't equal need. Growth can equal an unmet need if the existing haulers are not growing to meet that need. Here, the testimony shows that they are. And finally, I would take issue with Mr. Sandry's numbers. He was relying on this 40% growth in the C&D market. Mr. Perney testified that that growth is from years, that majority of that growth is from years ago, right after COVID. 2021 and 2022, there was astronomical growth. If you look at the numbers from 2022 through 2025, however, the growth in the C&D waste is less than 2%, which is in line with the long-term planning that Flathead County said, based on his long-term experience, is the expected growth in the market. With that, I would proffer to the commission that NWS has not proven any of the elements necessary for the commission to issue an additional permit as to Evergreen's area. We would ask that the permit be.
Thank you, counsel. Counsel for Republic, would you like to make a closing argument?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair, and the PSC staff for taking the time to consider this matter. The evidence we've heard in this hearing covers quite a number of topics. At the beginning of the hearing, counsel for the applicant suggested to you that the evidence in this matter would be, and I quote, pretty straightforward. I offer to you that the applicant is correct in that regard, but not necessarily in the way they expected it. As the commission knows, the applicant's required to prove by a preponderance of the evidence 4 elements on which the commission can base its decision. I agree with Ms. Pappas that the commission is well familiar with those elements, and that the evidence presented in this hearing has been equivocal as to the first, shaky as to the second, favors the protestants as to the third, and wholly absent as to the fourth. So the first element is fitness. Again, to cite the applicant's opening statement, this hearing is a quote do-over, as we were here last year discussing largely the same topic. In the prior matter, NW Services application was found wanting because it failed to establish the applicant's fitness to serve. Specifically, the commission found that the applicant had not provided sufficient evidence of financing to show that it was capable of operating. Now, as we sit here at the end of a 3-day hearing, the applicant has certainly presented more evidence of financing than it did at the last hearing. It did so, however, to the exclusion of evidence on the remaining 4 factors related to fitness. The applicant's intention to provide the service can be discerned from a number of places, and among those, its business plan. The applicant has acknowledged that in many respects, its written plan does not reflect its actual plan, or its actual pricing, or its actual expenses, or its actual expected income. And moreover, the plan was only created by one of its 3 members. Significantly, for the commission to consider, a 50% owner of the business had no input as to the written provisions of that plan that has been submitted to the commission for consideration. That 50% owner holds a veto power over the company's decision-making. And since the commission knows that he didn't provide input to the plan, but doesn't know how much of his desire for the business aligns with the plan, that of the plan's author, the commission is left without a basis to determine that the written plan actually reflects the applicant's intentions. Similarly, the plan contains some aspirational goals regarding the applicant's equipment. While the applicant has conceded that the plan is, and again I quote, all speculation, it is relevant to note that the witnesses testifying on behalf of the existing haulers, each of whom possesses significant experience in the actual performance of garbage hauling, have confirmed that the equipment called for in the plan is insufficient to provide a safe, stable, and reliable means of performing the service for which the application has been requested. The applicant's experience is tangential at best. The applicant's counsel said they are conversant in heavy equipment matters. And you heard each of the members of the applicant testify about their background. None of them have experience in garbage hauling. 2 do have experience around heavy equipment like excavators. This on its face sounds relevant, but it's akin to saying that lawyers and poets have similar backgrounds because they both deal with words. Few are ever going to call a legal brief poetry. The final element that, the final factor that the applicant must prove as to its fitness is illegal operations. And on this point, the applicant provided no testimony or evidence whatsoever. And since the burden is on the applicant to demonstrate its fitness, this factor must weigh against the applicant in light of its conspicuous omission. The second element's public need in the proposed service area for the proposed service. Now, aside from testimony that shippers themselves repeatedly characterized as either hearsay or something they heard based on discussions with third parties, and those third parties were not present for cross-examination before the commission, the applicant provided almost no net evidence of need, whether unmet or otherwise. In almost every instance, the shippers testified that they had not contacted any of the existing haulers in Flathead County in the last several years. And while the shipper suggested that they had been self-hauling during this time, their choice to do so, in connection with their choice not to seek service from existing haulers, clearly suggests that they had no need of service from an existing authorized Class D hauler. If they did, the record would be replete with recent examples of their attempting to seek service and then being denied service or stymied in their attempts to do so. The evidence shows that the reverse is true. The bulk of the shippers that testified have not recently sought service from a Class D hauler. Those few that have sought service more recently made broad and vague accusations about timeliness and the nature of the service they received. But then you heard evidence from the established Class D haulers, however, that specifically refutes each of those vague claims with more detailed evidence that shows that the shippers in fact did receive timely service when requested. You heard Dave Prunty, and he informed you that while the growth was higher in this area during the pandemic, it has now slowed. And again, I think the commission can take a look at those numbers, the growth numbers from 2020 and 2021, and determine that the math is probably correct, 41%, 35% at that time. But in Dave Prunty's words, that has planed out, it has slowed down, and it's now well below the planned growth that Flathead County anticipates. This last point obviously transitions to the third element, which is unmet public need. Each existing Class D hauler clearly and unequivocally testified as to their ability and their willingness to meet public need in Flathead County. Again, aside from broad and unsubstantiated hearsay couched in the guise of general reputation, the commission received no evidence of unmet need that was not specifically refuted by the records of the existing haulers. You heard from Andrew Ewing of Evergreen and Catherine Bernhardt of Republic how their companies have not only been investing in the personnel and equipment to meet the needs of the area, but also how in an urgent situation they can surge equipment and personnel and resources from other areas to meet the needs of this county. You heard specifically from Republic's driver, Chad Nielsen, about his commitment to serve the people of this area, and specifically with regard to roll-off service. Last but not least, the fourth element, the applicant must show by a preponderance of the evidence that the introduction of a new hauler into this market would serve a useful public purpose without endangering or impairing the operations of existing carriers contrary to the public interest. The applicant put on no evidence that allows the commission to find in its favor in this fourth factor. While the applicant has made broad assertions about the one or more of the existing shippers being large companies, related to large companies, it has not established through record facts how the existing shippers would be impacted in this market one way or the other, never mind how those shippers might be impacted outside of this market. By introducing select annual reports of some, but not all of the existing haulers, the applicant appears to be trying to argue that the existing haulers will not be endangered or impaired, regardless of what happens in Flathead County. The applicant has not addressed, however, how the commission is to determine from those annual reports, which implicate areas larger or smaller or separate from Flathead County, how the existing haulers will be impacted, other than to assume, without evidence, that there would be no material impact. This isn't enough. The applicant conceded on cross-examination that it has done no analysis on this subject whatsoever. This concession is fatal to its case, and the commission can resolve the application on this element alone. Competition, I think the commission can review the Interstate Carrier Authority report and determine whether or not there has been the introduction of a new hauler into the Great Falls marketplace. And I think on review, it will determine that there actually has been no such introduction. Returning once more to the applicant's opening statement, these issues are, and I'm quoting again, time-worn. The applicant did not prepare its case concerning these time-worn issues before its last application, and it was consequently denied its certificate. In this case as well, the applicant has simply not prepared its case concerning these same time-worn issues, and thus its application should be denied here as well. This is, after all, again, a do-over. The applicant has done what it did last time, and the commission should follow suit and deny its application for a Class D certificate. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, counsel. Counsel for LNL, would you like to provide a comment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you to the commission staff, Mr. Sanders, Ms. Weber, Mr. Nicholson, Mr. Purcell, Ms. Pappas, and especially thank you to our intrepid court reporter, Mrs. Oxby over there. These hearings can be long and tedious, and so I appreciate everyone's patience and willingness to participate. I think it's possible that, and I know my colleagues will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm probably the only other person in this room that has sat where Mr. Sandry and the applicant are sitting in this scenario with these Class D proceedings. In terms of applicant fitness, which seemed to be the primary issue on which the 2025 application was decided, I think that NW Services has done some heavy lifting to try to address those issues and address the commission's concerns there, particularly with respect to financial condition. I don't think it's reasonable. It can be reasonably questioned that they have the finances to be fit to try at least. In terms of the intent to provide service, it's kind of a unique element. It sounds like they are certainly going to try. In terms of the adequacy of the equipment, the commission has previously held that one used garbage truck is sufficient for an applicant. I think we've got that here. In terms of their relevant experience, I've represented applicants that had similar experience in the construction industry with heavy equipment and CDLs. So I think those issues have been adequately addressed. In terms of the business plan, that's always gonna essentially be your best estimate or best guess. I don't think you really know how the business works until you start operating. And you can't account for every unforeseen circumstance in a business plan. It's just not possible. The idea that they've, or the fact that they've put thought into that at all, it works to their benefit, I think, on that element. My concerns come with whether or not there's a demonstrated unmet need in the market. I think the commission's fully capable of making a determination one way or the other on that. It's you know, it is difficult to get members of the public in here to testify, particularly when you want them to come testify about problems with maybe the only garbage hauler that can provide you service. People have concerns about whether they'll be denied service or get poor service as a result of their testimony. And that's certainly understandable, and people don't have time to take off work to come participate in these proceedings. And so I think the commission is fully capable and competent to make a decision about whether the particular shipper witnesses that were put forth by the applicant demonstrated whether there's any unmet need in the market. The concerns that L&L Grizzly has here is, I don't think you can reasonably say certainly that L&L is not willing or not capable of meeting any demonstrated public need here. Particularly in the specific small, tiny southern portion of Flathead County that's in dispute with respect to my client. They've invested, over $2 million. They've cut their profit margin in half, preparing and investing to provide that service to this area. And in terms of the harm, whether there's gonna be harm contrary to the public interest, I think Mr. Sandry is correct. None of these businesses are gonna go out of business. The problem comes when the public interest is affected. And so if rates go up for people, or if they're offered fewer services, that's the testimony that you've heard from Mr. Fisher here, that he has concerns that they might have to raise their rates, or they might have to offer fewer services if there's an additional competitor brought into the market after we've only been here for 142 days. And so I think that if anything is fatal, at least with respect to that specific portion of Flathead County for NW services here, that's the fatality for them. But again, as I mentioned before, the commission has discretion under the statute to grant an application, Class D. I've never seen it happen, but it is theoretically possible under the law for them to grant an application in part or set terms and conditions on the applicant's authority. And so that's what we would ask to have happen here. If the commission determines that there is unmet need and that the existing providers in Flathead County aren't needed. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. I'd like to move off the record now to have a briefing schedule with this moment. I'll slip out of the room, but yet when you want to discuss those matters. Then we'll come back on the record. Obligatory hearing matters for our final public comment. So we are off the record now at 12 noon. We are back on the record. It is 12:10. The results of the scheduling conference will now be read into the record by Commission Staff Attorney Teresa Owens.
The parties have agreed to post-hearing briefing and proposed orders along the following deadlines. Opening brief will be submitted July 17th, 2026. Response briefs will be submitted August 17th, 2026. Proposed orders will be submitted September 11th, 2026. All of this will be included in a in an order from the commission, and following submission of those proposed orders, the commission will have this docket deemed fully submitted for decision.
Thank you. I wanted to take just a couple minutes to thank all council for being so professional during the hearing. I really appreciate that. Also like to take a minute to thank all the witnesses who participated in the hearing. Obviously, we couldn't have done this without your testimony. So thank you very much for that. Is there any other matters council would like to bring my attention before we just close the evidentiary portion of this hearing?
We have that.
We have none.
I'm from.
Okay, thank you again, everyone. Then the evidentiary hearing portion is closed and we will move to the final public comment period. And let me start. Are there any other public commenters in the room this afternoon? Seeing none, I understand we have one public commenter online,
We do.
Mr. Daggett.
Yes.
Mr. Daggett, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. Can you hear me?
I can. Just as a note, please be advised that the hearing is being recorded and all your comments received will be considered public records. So please don't include any confidential or private information in your comments. And if you could start your comment by just stating your name and telling us the town that you're from. We don't need your physical address, just the town.
Yeah, I'm Matthew Daggett. I'm from Big Fork, Montana. And I reached out. I had a remodel project that I've been continually working on. And last fall, I looked into getting a roll-off dumpster. And I can't remember the exact pricing I got. But I remember I just determined I would self-haul by renting a dump trailer and doing it myself. And it was a costly adventure. And I think having another provider in the valley and being able to provide services in the area would actually bring down the competitive pricing. As we know, more options, they have to get more competitive, and the customer service side of things would have to improve. There's always room for the best in the market, and I think that having more options would be beneficial to the community.
Any other comments, sir?
That's it.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate your calling in today. Do we have any other online comments?
No.
No, all right. Seeing no further comment, then we will now close the hearing. For anyone wishing to follow the outcome of this matter, you may do so on the Commission's online Ready portal by following docket number 2026.01.011. If you have any questions about accessing the portal, please contact the Commission at 800-646-6151 or email them at pschelp@mt.gov. So thank you again to everyone who participated in the matter. The time is 12:14 and the hearing is adjourned and we're off the record.